What's going on, everybody? It's a new week and our core conversations are going live every day. Thank you so much for joining us every day, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Whether we have a guest or not, we're going at it and we're going to unpack some things today. So thank you for joining us. Body Wellness by Gail. Hello. Heather Hayes, what's going on? Hi, Tammy. I have lots to talk about today. All off of one post that hit me so timely. Shanti, what's going on? Okay, let's get some housekeeping things out of the way here. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for joining us. Carrie. All right, so the Queen's funeral, is that what we're competing against right now? All good. Look at something that suits your fancy. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I forgot to put this pinned. There you go. So much power in our words, don't you find? I could say something and suddenly be canceled for a comment that could be taken out of context at any second. That is the power of walking in intention and walking in consistency, so people know that there's integrity to what you do. Side note, the coffee machine wasn't working this morning, so I'm drinking water out of my Dad Gold's cup right now. Really hot water. Going with my mom's styles of just straight hot water, nothing in it. As we roll. Original Pilates. Is that Lebanon? What does that say? I missed it. Lebanon. Where are you located? Or Lebanon? I can't read it. It's too fine. At any rate, this is what we're doing. I absolutely loved this picture. And I put a repost about it. This is Michael Piercy, Tasha Edwards in the middle, and Michelle Sims on the corner. And that's off of Hip Healthy Chick or Tasha Edwards' post. And the reason why I love this is because all you see is smiley faces And this is probably at a conference somewhere. And these are some fierce teachers, some brilliant movers and teachers and leaders in the industry, underrated leaders in the industry, which are getting their love now. And yes, thank you for those who have to watch this later. It's all good. Just giving some flowers to my people, you know. Piercy has a book out. Tasha has a charitable organization. Michelle's got a lot of stuff going on in the studio. She's been a master trainer for many corporations and organizations. They put in their time, they put in their work. And I really look forward to seeing the next generation of teachers if they can latch on to everything that these people say. If they can hold on and just run with anything that comes out of these three people's mouths, our industry's in a good way. I'm thinking about that a lot these days, how as much as I'm trying to do my thing in different spheres, it is the next generation that is so important, and not just the kids that we train, but those next generation of teachers that are coming up in the industry, those people who are fresh out of college and taking on their first clients. If they could make our long roads their short roads, you know, if we can help them in those ways, that's so powerful. So these three are up and doing great work. Man, that's hot. And I'll give them some love. Tammy, I see you have your live, you have your podcast, and you got a lot of stuff going on LinkedIn. Killing it over there. That is great. You could type in the chat what's going on for those who are just chiming in here. How the workshop's coming? How are your lives going? Who was your guest? You had a guest just the other day too. I need to watch a replay from. Definitely gonna watch that. Set this up so I can read through it. Jamesy. Amazing. There is a big fan, great thinker, really good friend. I hope he's doing well. I haven't talked to him in a bit. Reminds me, I'm going to shoot him a message after this. What do you guys talk about? Promote it. Like, what's going on? Definitely, guys, if you're not following Studio T Pilates, Michigan, am I? That's what's up. Misty Lynn Coffin, how are you? I am going to unpack a great piece that Tasha put up the other day. I missed it initially, but as I read through it, I'm recognizing how this is such a timely message for me. These are like my marching orders till further notice. Much like when Tasha dropped the what I mentioned, cadence, and how that really resonated with her. I think she just returned the favor right now with these 5 points. So I called them Tasha's 5, and she could trademark that and run with it however she wants. Because even if there's no one in the chat right now, I'm gonna drop these because I feel like this is something I'm gonna replay for myself. This is what she said. She had this picture in the post. I don't know if you saw this. It says Michael Piercy, Tasha Edwards, and Michelle Sims. And for those of you who weren't here a second ago, I was saying that if there are any personal trainers, fitness people, Pilates people who are just graduating from a program, if you're like 21 years old and you just finished some health promotion course and you decide you're going to go to like conferences like URSA and IDEA, Can't Fit, all those things. If you see any one of these three names on the program, go to their class, write down everything that comes out of their mouth and use that, because you will be so much further ahead than the person next to you in the industry. These three are doing it. That is, I'd hang off their every word because they understand it and they will make your long road short. Maria Earl, what's going on? I can say that Misty, Carrie, and Maria, those three who just came into the room as well, but from the understanding of fitness and that crossover to whether it's dance or Pilates or sport specific, these guys are doing it. And I've seen them as leaders over the years, but a lot of times they're not elevated as that world-class, top-tier, first-level, A-list movers and thinkers in the space, and I believe that they are personally. I personally believe they are. So, and if it wasn't enough that this picture made me smile because I just love all these people, Tasha had this as her thing. So we can get this in there. Oh, that's way too small. I'm gonna read it properly. Let me just get this off here. I wrote down. So she had 5 things. And the first one, any one of these, if you want to chime in, talk about it, unpack it, join me on the live, any one of those things, just give me a thumbs up, I'll bring you on. The first one, we'll spend some time with this, is, here actually, let me get this. She starts off by saying, it's a new week, the last week of summer. Here's how we can make it count more. 1, use your energy to raise the vibration around who and what we love. Use your energy to raise the vibration around who and what we love. So use your energy to raise the vibration around who and what we love. And I'm hearing that and I'm like, okay, well, pour yourself into the things that you love already. The reason why this is hitting me so hard is because at the same time I'm doing this, which I love, I'm moving into a campaign mode in a really, really deep way. And the temptation is to be something else, to be what other people want you to be, to appease as many people as possible. And it doesn't matter if it's politics or fitness, we all have people who are our people. We all have people who are gonna walk into our studio and they're gonna be like, no, so this isn't for me, and walk out. And we could be like, wait, I can make this work, I can make this happen. Or we can be like, okay, well, I focus on these people. These are the people who have filled this room and have been working with me for 25 years. Maybe you're not the person for me. So if we distract and dilute our message and who we are, then we're not pouring our energy into raising the vibration of the thing that we're most passionate about. So forget about those things and do you really, really, really well. That's how I hear that. How do you hear that? Directly, this is what the quote says. Use your energy to raise the vibration around who and what we love. That can be heard so many different ways. That's what I heard. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Maria. Yes, continue to put your chats and live things in there. Piercy, what's going on, man? Mike, if you want to join me in live, I'm actually unpacking her post where she had your guys' picture. Got a minute. Carrie Miller is saying, I have an online class this Friday. It's an introduction to breathwork for Pilates teachers. Virtual on Friday. It costs $15. Jump on that. Jump on that. That's going to be good. So the first point that she made on this, Pierce, you missed your flowers, but it's all good. Watch the replay. The second point that she made, first one was use our energy to raise the vibration around those around us. And the second point was put your work towards what it is that we say we want to call ourselves. What it says that we want, sorry. Put the work in towards what it is that we say that we want, and call ourselves out when we know we're operating below our capability. Pierce is coming on right about now. Yes, sir.
What's going on, brother?
As always, things are good, man. Things are good.
How we doing? Always a pleasure to start the week off on our conversations.
Mm-hmm. I like Tasha put this up as a finish strong Friday, and I feel like this, like a starting strong on the Monday, is important too. And did you see her post, the one with your picture and all that stuff in it?
Yeah. I saw it last night. It was that was a nice little. She wrote a great 5 on it. Listen, I didn't expect to be in the picture, but I definitely appreciate the love. I definitely do. She's, you talk about those great humans, she's one of those people, especially in you as well. So when we talk about all the things we talk about, when you talk about those amazing people that we come across in life, and you just know their energy is special, you guys are like, that's world class.
Thank you. That's exactly. I didn't use that word. I think I used every word but world class earlier.
Because it's overused. It's overused.
It's true. I think it is overused. But I mean, I was saying my perspective this morning is that personal trainer, that person who says, okay, I'm going to take a health and promotion course at Humber College here in Toronto. I'm going to come out and I'm going to be a personal trainer, right? And they do a big box gym thing, whatever. And I was saying, like, if your name comes up on a conference list somewhere, don't even look at what the topic is. Just sign up for it. Just be in the room with Piercy. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Just be in the room with him. Same thing with Tasha. Same thing with Michelle. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the 3 of you there. If you see their names anywhere, just doesn't matter if you do something else. Just listen to what they got to say, because it's definitely, there's experience, there's wisdom, there's just reps, right? There's just reps that we had that make that real. So
yeah. I appreciate that. To be honest, that means the world to me, man. And like I said, it's for those people, and when you think about it, right, it's not even just, I feel the same way about you guys. It's so many things that happen when you think of conference topics and what people come in for. It's the things that come out of the session that aren't, on the slide deck and things like that become masterful moments. It's like being, I remember mentoring with my first mentor when I was a young kid getting into this game, and you would think of the things that we were supposed to talk about, but you would just learn so much from the ins and outs of the conversation, and the little different topics that would pop up, and the little different questions and things like that. It's just so powerful when you start thinking about it. So I definitely appreciate that. I don't know if everybody want to just be in the room and hang out with me, but I'll take it.
You take it. Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, exactly. That's a whole separate conversation around finding your people, but at least be there for a moment, extract the truth, and then bounce, right? So Tasha had 5 on it, and the first one was just use that energy to raise the vibration of those of who and what we love, and I love that. The second one, which I'm kind of camping out on for moments, putting work towards what we say we want, and calling ourselves out when we're operating below that. So that piece, right? Like, that's you're getting some love from Italy right now in the chat there.
What's going on? I appreciate the love. You need the love on Monday. Come on, Mark.
Absolutely. So the 2 pieces, right? I mean, like, we're working towards what we want, how we're crafting our message and who we are, and all that good stuff. But then also that accountability from within. I think that's the piece, right? I mean, it's one thing to have everyone else calling us out, but how are we regulating? How are we calling ourselves to accountability when we're moving or operating below it?
So in this, you have this conversation with anybody that's in a close circle. It's like when she wrote, like, these are my people. It's like when we have conversation, that accountability is so important. But when we think about the self accountability is really just bringing things to light that may not be comfortable things for us to actually, you know. I think I posted something earlier in the week. It was like, you know, it's kind of like God. It's like I had to move you because you wouldn't move on your own. You know what I mean? So it's good to look at. You always have to do an inventory of the things you're doing, and if you got things that in your life that you're not super happy with, and this is for all of us, like, you know, sometimes we get into patterns, right? And I'm a baseball player. We love patterns, you know, like everything is a pattern, but that pattern isn't working for us. How is it serving us? So it's up to us and our accountability, you know. And it's also having people around us, you know. What Tasha wrote was so powerful. It's also, you know, they say your great friends tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Right, you don't always want to hear it, but the truth is the truth, and you know, truth. You know, somebody would say truth is not for comfort, right? The comfort, you know, not what we want, right? So we don't the next level that way. So when we think about it, you know, for so much accountability things, it's having, you know, those people that are part of your circle, part of your tribe, to help hold you accountable for that you say that you want to achieve, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like when the people in that circle are all chasing after their greatness in some other arena. You know what I mean? So like you can see how, and like it's not like they're all just personal trainers going for this greatness. Like one like runs a business, one has a bricks and mortar, one's in finance, whatever it is. So there's the same sense of like we all have to overcome certain things. We all have to battle with certain things. We're all moving towards something, and that sense of living below that potential when we're the ones who put out where we want it to be. That's the part that I like about it. So I can see your struggle in the whatever field and be like, I saw that last week in my area. You know what I mean? And then we can learn and grow from one another in that way too, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best things that you can do is you spend so much time immersed in like I say in almost every session, right? We love what we do. We love this, right? Everybody don't love it like we do. The more we can contact with everybody, if everybody did, we wouldn't have jobs. Everybody don't love this. Some people are like, this, you know, it sucks. I got to do this workout, right? But one of the best things that you can do, and no matter what field you are, you can extract so much from just, you know, going outside and learning from so many different people's stories. Like for me, one of my obsessions, like autobiographies, or somebody comes out with something like Viola Davis, like, you know, even like, you know, a Beyonce autobiography, or successful people that things, Barack Obama, you know, different stuff, Steve Jobs, people that have been successful in their field. You know, these people didn't just magically pop up there, right? You know, the ways they say success leaves crumbs, right? So it's like, it's so many things you can follow from just going outside and really, you can't extract all of a philosophy, right? But it's like, you know, alluding to like being an athlete, right? You can't absorb anybody's shooting philosophy, hitting philosophy in entirety, right? You can always take little bits and use what works for you to create an effect, right? So that's like, it's so great to go outside and look at different, and then it's also a very comfortable factor, because it's like, to learn from people, there needs to be a safe place where we're not competing with each other, right? So it's like, and that's what's great. It's like you go to somebody, even in our industry, you go to somebody who's a killer in like the Group X field or things like that, or Pilates or yoga and things like that, and just so many conversations that you can have that's like, oh, well, yeah, like you just said, it's like, oh yeah, I was going through that last week. I was talking to, you know, Miss So-and-so about that. Doesn't mean that that's not effective when you're dealing with your athlete and things like that. So
right. There's I don't know if he's actually in the chat right now, but like case in point, there's a guy, Trey Arts. I don't know if he's in the chat still.
Just pop on.
Yeah, he just popped on. I think he's out. He's out now. But I don't know if you've ever watched any of the chats when he's an artist. Like he's a crazy, incredible artist. And he basically just like sold everything. And he has a studio in like East Toronto, I believe, or West Toronto. And he does like paint nights, and he does a bunch of stuff in schools and whatever. And there's so many parallels between that service industry and what we do. And do you go bricks and mortar, and do you do all these different things? And he shared like a lot of the trials and tribulations of getting to where he as a Black man running a paint studio and doing paint nights. It's different, right? Wow. He's one of one in that space, right? Like in that sense. So it's unique, and he's like unapologetically himself in the way he presents all that stuff that he does, and it's good. It's really good. And that ties into the next one, and someone put it in the chat already. Surround yourself. So number 3 was surround yourself with people whose very presence makes you level up. And that's the piece, right? Their presence makes you, not like you, Kirsten, you need to step up. Like, it's not one of these things. It's just like they walk in the room and you're like, yo, I need to step up my game, right? Like,
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that one is it brings to, I don't know if you've ever, read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, but it's one.
Yeah, that's good. I've read most of it. I haven't finished it.
Yeah, I could almost quote all 48 to you, but there's one, is Rule 10. Rule 10 is it's called the rule of infection. And you might have saw, like, I do all quotes all the time, but one of the quotes was, you can either infect people or you can affect people, and that's with your energy, right? So Rule 10 is in the rule of infection. And the rule of infection is basically avoid the unhappy and unlucky, because you want to help them, but at the end, that ends up becoming your fate, because you get infected with that energy. So look at it, it's like you said, you want to, the thing about it is, if you can be around happy people that are always like, in any circumstance, well, no matter what, they have energy that positively moves them forward. That energy becomes your energy at the same time. But it's like being on a great team, right? Great teams. One thing about being on a great team. I'm a Mets guy. When we think about the Mets, 86 for us is like, it's the breath of hope, right? That no matter how bad it is. So people say, well, how do you perspective? I'm an 86 Mets guy. No matter how bad it is, you believe you're going to win at the end. And that's when you're on a great team. And I've been on teams like that. It doesn't matter if you're down 10 runs in the ninth inning. We still believe somehow, some way we're going to win it. And I think that when you're around other people that have that same belief, a rising tide raises all boats, man. So if you got a bunch of people that pull together, and then, when we start to, go down, somebody's always there to pick you up, or always there to give you a positive perspective, even when you maybe are like, I don't want to hear this. You know what I mean? It's a powerful thing, that circle.
Absolutely. The simplest way that can be said is just, surround yourself with people that make you better, that you make you want to be better, right? Like, and I like, there's just a baseline, just their presence just makes you be like, okay, different perspective.
No doubt.
The last 2. So remain present with ourselves and create space to be, not just to do. So creating space to be, not just to do.
I love that, because it's a play on that. When you go back to that, it's like be a human being, not a human doing. Right?
Yes.
And I'm guilty, like the most hypocritical person to talk to about that, because I'm guilty of doing stuff all the time. And it's tough. Well, it's not tough, to actually be honest with you. It's what's the quote, right? It says
simple but not easy.
Simple but not easy. And then there is, life is, I don't know if the quote goes this way, but it's life is short, eat the cake first. So it's like it's hard sometimes, because you have all these things that you want to do, need to do, feel like you are tied to doing. Even when you hit me just now, I was on there doing a slide deck for a presentation coming up. But it's so difficult, right? And when you feel like you are a person that is constantly doing things, you're always moving on to the next thing. That's what I get from it. And in that moment, realize that sometimes it's good to be in that space. So for instance, just to like kind of look at that whole quote as a whole, like me being there with Tasha and those guys, that when we took that picture at Idea, right? And I don't know if that's my session or another session, but in that moment, you never think that like this was, you never know what the moment is like for the people around you. So obviously in that moment, it has a different effect on each and every person. But yesterday at some point for her, I feel like it felt like, she was in a special place, and that moment kind of hit her, and it's like, these are my people, what I mean? And that's, it's like, it's like if somebody talked to me about you or somebody, I'm like, those are my people, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why we always like to jump on here, because you're connecting with that energy. But I think that goes to being in the moment. And we talked about that Last Dance thing when we were on here last time.
Yes.
And they talked about Michael Jordan, and I thought that was one of the most powerful moments, when the guy said the thing about Michael Jordan that was his biggest gift is he was present. it's hard to do that.
Yes.
It's hard to not be where you were before, trying to correct past mistakes as well as like trying to move forward and figure out where you're going. It's hard to just sit, you know, and I think that that's introspective and crazy, right?
Absolutely, because almost trying to manipulate the future instead of being the present.
Yeah, yeah, because you're already there. Like you're like, oh, well, I got to do this, this, and this because I got this coming up, or this person wants this, and you know, there's in our industry especially, there's moments when you are with people, you know, and you can affect people left or right. You know, you can be a negative influence for a person depending on whatever you got going on, or you can be a person that gives somebody a jolt of energy that maybe they needed that you didn't even know. You never know. You know, here we like to think about it like it's so many people who come from different spaces. You never know what people that walk through the doors are experiencing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, so it's that's my particular interpretation of when she wrote that.
Yeah, absolutely. We throw around the phrase "trust the process," and I've been really wrestling with that notion of trust the process, because when I was in a clear headspace, I said 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock every Friday, phone down, eyes up, unplug, me time. I'm going to do that. And then as I got closer to this campaign, election day, and the pressure's on, and there's things that need to be done, and you know, I'm thinking all these different things. I'm like, okay, am I going to trust the process now and do that still, or am I going to make an excuse and do something that's more important and all those different things? So that trust the process element and this thing called faith tie into it, where I'm like, okay, every time I trust the process or have faith that this is a thing I'm supposed to be doing, by the time I finish that time, I have more clarity. Someone who calls me towards the end of it, and it propels me forward, because that's the medium I'm trying to make happen. Now all of a sudden I'm 2 weeks ahead of my plan because they found me, or something happens that reinforces that I made the right decision at the end of that time. Every week. But then every week I have the same struggle. Am I going to do it or not?
You know, I was having this conversation last night, and it's so fun. We all got stuff we struggle with, right? You know, I think that people think because you're a fitness professional that you don't struggle with food, that you don't struggle with days that you don't want to work out, no matter how much. And then you come up with all these strategies to do so. You know, the funny thing, it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. That's why they say coaches need coaches, right? Because it's a difficult situation for us. And I think that the thing is, the perspective is, and I was talking to, you know, somebody close to me last night, and I was saying, you know, basically, you know, it's when you look at it, you almost have to, you can always run somebody else's business better than you run your own, right? You know everything that they should do. You know everything. Tell them you should be doing this, you should be doing that, everything that you should be doing. And, you know, you almost have to do that to yourself, right? Where you come out and then it's hard to do. That's when we go back to that circle, right? You have people that, you know, that maybe they, you know, you don't like what they have to say, and you say some things to them, but, you know, they ain't never going nowhere. Those are the people that you look at that are, they're never going nowhere. Like those are people that, you know, God is chained to your soul. I like to think, you know, that, you know,
you can't shake them.
No, you can't shake them. You know, even when they should be like, I can't be messing with crazy. You know, but you know, they love you so much that it's like, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth, because this is. But also for us as a whole, it's like you got to step outside yourself, or even be able to do a self inventory and say, all right, these are the things that I need to work on. And how to actually affect that and be better. So it's a thing. It's you got somebody throwing something in a struggle fitting in the practice. Or
I'll read it because the replay never shows the comment. So it says, I struggle fitting in practice the more I've taken on ownership of my own studio. I tell my students how much I need them as much to be accountable as well. Yes. Maria Earl, great convo. I'll catch up with the rest later. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Maria. Yeah, that's exactly. So, and that's a great strategy too, right? Like lean on your people. There, you create that accountability, and whether it's like, that one person who likes the push of seeing you work out with them, or that one
Mm,
person who like get them, ask me if I worked out this week by the time I see you on Thursday afternoon. Like I don't want to be saying no to you while you're saying no
mm-hmm,
to me here. So like find something that works. So yes, create those avenues of accountability is a great strategy.
mm-hmm. And you know, the funny thing, I think the genius of it, like, and it's not just workout, the thing is we're
Yes.
fitness professionals, obviously. So a lot of times we can just tap into that. But when I look at like the Apple Watch, I thought one of the most genius things was those rings. That's the fact that you need to close the
Yes.
rings.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right,
Yes.
if you see that and you're a person that's driven by accomplishment, all of a sudden you're like, shit, I gotta close my
You're
ring.
yes. Yes.
Like I gotta stand up, I gotta move around, I gotta do some other stuff,
Yeah.
and that one thing kind of drives you, right? And I think that if
Yes.
you can do that in other aspects where you set up something that makes you accountable to whatever it is, it almost changes the way that you view it. It's like, hey, I need to make sure that I get these emails out, because
Yes.
or what happens. I got to make sure that I take that time for myself, because for you, like I commend you, brother. Like the fact that you haven't fallen off of your conversations, knowing that you have everything going on and something that you're trying to do that's amazing for your community. You're running for office and you're gonna win, but you have not wavered in your consistency and being present and making sure that you serve your audience that want your conversation. So that's like, it's taking a second to commend you on that, because it's
Thank
hard to
you.
do. It's very difficult to do, because it's
Yeah.
easy to
Yeah.
just got too much stuff going on. I can't be doing,
Yeah.
conversations right. You know.
Man, like I've said this. I'm getting more of those, people commending me on it at this stage of life, and I'm like, but I'm leaning on you right now. Like I'm saying, like
Yeah.
I depend on the fact that we've laid such a great foundation that our community feeds our community at this point.
I love it.
Like that's really what's happening here. So I appreciate that. I recognize that my job is to show up, and
Mm.
and collectively we feed everyone. So
Yeah. You know what's funny is you just said that showing
thank
up.
you.
The
Yes.
the funny thing about that is, like, that's 90% of the game. It's like when you think about like people trying to get in shape, fitness people or whatever it
Yes.
is. 90% of it is just showing up.
Mm.
Figure it out once you get there.
Yeah, once you get there, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And for us, it's the same thing. It's like being in the game. You got to be in it to win it. So
Yes.
showing up to do the work and things like that. And I think that that's powerful. But definitely, when I look at that yesterday, that was a heart moment, because it's like you never know how you affect the people around you that you are close to, and completely
Yes.
completely a high quality individual. So.
Absolutely. Last one, and then we jump off here. Be assured that nothing and no one can keep you from what's yours when it's time for you to have it.
Boom.
The West Indians, Jamaicans say it. They say, "What is for you can't be enough for you."
Yeah, but we talk about it all the time. I'm a spiritual person, so it's always God's purpose, right? So
Yep.
nobody could keep from you for once, your purpose has got to be served. So that's when you look at it, I think that was that's a spiritual thing when I look at that one right there. It's
Absolutely.
So it's up to you to do the work, and I think that from that perspective is coming from a more secure place, and it's the fact that you don't have to
Absolutely.
rip and run all around in a circle to try to get to where you're trying to go. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, as long as you continuously put the blocks in place of where it's going to be, what's going to be for you is going to be for you. Can't nobody take that away from you. And I
Absolutely.
think that was my perspective, and I think that was super powerful. So well written, all five of them. But
All
just
five, man. Yeah. The and when things don't turn out in that way, I find the message I send to myself and to others is that the right thing at the wrong time is the wrong thing.
Oh, that's a mic drop right there.
Right?
That's the mic drop.
The right thing at the wrong time is the wrong thing, and sometimes
Oh,
we
but
try and manufacture, try and make that thing that we think clearly is for us right now. Wrong time, it's the wrong thing.
And you're banging your head up against the wall, and you're trying to, fit that square peg into the round hole, and you know, And then sometimes it's like what you just hit. If it's for you, it's gonna come back around because that's just the way, that's the way it's destined to be. Sometimes.
Yep.
And, for us, the hardest thing, because we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't, like to hold the steering wheel and drive. The toughest thing is to say, what is it? Jesus take the wheel?
Yes. Yep. Yes. You, man, Pierce, I appreciate you sacrificing your presentation time to do this. I'm sure it's going to be rich anyway. So, but yeah, no, I just think like, okay, these are my marching orders, man. Like, I mean, like all the stuff that's going on, like to be able to just find some grounding needs and to take time with our community to unpack it and just like hear what it means for you and for others who are grabbing pieces of this. Like, yes, Phil Griffin, mind blown. That's an awesome quote. Like, run with that, man. Like, write it on your wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that sometimes, you feel nice right now. I've got this motivation for a Monday, but Wednesday morning, and you're like, like, go back to that Monday. So.
No doubt.
Yeah.
What's a powerful quote, though? I'm telling you, that's a mic drop right there. That's the mic drop.
Yes. If someone wants to put that in the chat, they can, or I'll put it in there just for you. Yeah. So and Michelle, right there. It's good to see Michelle Sims. I've seen her on some other chats too, as well. She's doing so well. Dang, that's wrong time is the wrong thing. I feel like I'm writing on a chalkboard right now. I can't remember.
That's it. Put it up. You got to post it. Put it up and post it. Throw it in the towel, post it up. You may put Mind Blown Mondays. Love it.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Love it.
Good stuff. What's your presentation for you're working on?
So I am Vagaro is gym software. So I'll be out there this week for Iconic 2022, and we're just doing presentation on clients, connecting with clients to get them in and things like that. And obviously for them, it's how can their software tie into what you do and to bring more folks into it. The awesome spaces and things that you're doing. So if you haven't heard of them, they're actually pretty cool.
Is it the virtual one?
No, they're actually it's at San Francisco. And then after that, we got Idea Korea next month. So go out there and cause some trouble in Seoul for a little bit. I get to use my passport again.
Hey.
It's been so long. So long I've used the passport. I think like I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
That's too funny. So where's the Idea one?
Idea Korea in Seoul, Korea.
Oh, Korea! So, I thought you said Idea Careers. Like I think a career.
No. Yeah. No.
Korea.
Yeah, Korea.
Awesome.
I speak Slanglish by now. You know that about me. I speak half English. So you never know. You got to translate. You got to be around for a little while. Then people start translating. This is what he really said.
Yes. Nice. It's so funny you watch documentaries and someone's speaking in Patois and they have like the captions on the bottom. It's like, it's still English, man. Like, it's still English.
I feel like that. Hopefully, I feel like that'll be me one day. I get to talk on yours or somebody else's documentary, and then they get to put captions under what I actually. People are like shit. Now I can understand them.
Yes.
So some idea come to Toronto. Tell them, hit them up. Tell them they need to do Idea Toronto. Tell them.
Yeah, that's like turf war with CanFit though. Like
Hey, listen. I'm not.
We'll leave that.
I'm not part of those guys. All right.
Yeah, too funny. All right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping on. I'm gonna watch this replay and just feed my soul. I think a few times.
I always appreciate you having me on, brother. Have a great week, and obviously I'll talk to you before then. But have a great. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you.
All right, bro.
There you go. as that logs off. Thank you so much to everyone who joined, man. That was some good stuff there. If you don't get a chance, I know, yeah, so if you didn't get a chance to watch the beginning, definitely check that out. Watch the replay on that. And yes, gentlemen, got some Pi Safari. Thanks for joining us. Good stuff. I have to say that Tasha's. I'm gonna probably make this a podcast. I haven't done a podcast in a while, but I really feel like there's some good stuff in there that people need to hear and have in their pocket. So I'm gonna put that out and look out for that piece. I haven't done a podcast in a minute, but yeah, that's some good stuff. Nuggets for real. So Rachel, thank you for joining us. Brooke, I hope you're doing well. All right, party people, we are out. We're back at it this week. We have some great guests later in this week. I'm just gonna get those out to you shortly. Thanks for joining us as always. That was some food for soul. So I hope you enjoyed that. Tasha, thanks for giving us some inspiration. Here, once again, is the pick that started this all out. There's Michael Piercy, Tasha Edwards, and Michelle. And Tasha's post is the one that was the catalyst for this conversation. All right, party people, we are out. Thank you for joining us, and we are done. The right thing at the wrong time is the wrong thing. There's your mic drop Monday.